Hello, welcome back. As you can see, there's been some changes. I went ahead and switched around my gear after leveling up. We are now level 126 with 40 attunement, giving us a total of 7 slots, plus a couple. Since we have, well, we don't have the ring, so we just have the 7 slots right now. I went ahead and switched out our weapon set. We're just because I'm getting tired of using the halberd and I want to use the blue flame. I leveled it up to 5. It uses Twinkling Titanite. Twinkling Titanite weapons can only go to +5. They don't go any further. But as you can see over in our stats, they are quite powerful. The blue flame scales with E scaling in strength, D scaling in dexterity, and C scaling in intelligence. Now you can see I still have my other weapons available in case I run into something I need help with. But for now, I'm just going to stick with my blue flame. I'll probably take off the binocular. Well, I'll switch the binoculars to my opposite hand. Let's put it that way. Because with the blue flame, casting with binoculars can be a little tough. Because we have the blue flame, I am not going to be using my witch tree branch. We're going to lose some casting speed here, but we're gaining some casting strength, I believe. That's 180 and 56 versus 250 and 57. Or 77. The witch tree branch is more powerful. That's going to change. I'm going to upgrade the blue flame, and it's going to become very, very powerful here in a minute.
You've been long away. What would you like?
Stone Trader Cloanne has changed. Now that we've reached the king and gotten the king's ring, we can buy all kinds of good stuff from her. So what we need is a faint stone. Or 2. But you can see she sells a lot of stuff now. And we will be coming back to her from time to time. I have also infused the Chaos Shield with Dark. The reason being, even though I don't do dark damage, the Chaos Shield gives 100% resistance to dark damage. So anybody tries to use dark spells against us, we block and just giggle at them. It also has an 83% resistance to magic. You can upgrade it with a faint stone to give it 95% resistance. We're only going to have 73% resistance to physical. That's fine. The goal is not to get hit with physical anyway. The shield is really just because I think it looks cool, to be honest. It has a gorgeous shield. So, the moveset on this sword is pretty basic. So, we won't be doing anything special with it. We're just going to R1 spam most enemies. So let's head on over and infuse this weapon. Now that we have dealt with the shrines, I'm probably going to go do the DLCs next. However, first I would like, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to grab a few items in order to do the DLCs. So now we're here. Blue Flame, 180 versus 187. And then it gains B scaling. Let's see how that looks. Remember, it was 200 and... well, we'll see. So that's 250 plus 77 damage versus 187 plus 102. Now, you might be thinking, why would I even care? What's the point, right? This is the point. That's going to go over there. You actually want to get 2 of them, because you can buff the blue flame with magic weapon. And when buffed with magic weapon, it deals more magic damage. Now, I don't believe it shows it, but that should have given it 30 more. So you can see we're rapidly approaching a very powerful casting weapon. And if you have two of them, you can use one to buff the other. So we're going to go ahead and use this for a while. No need to have our witch tree branch out. We're not going to hit as hard as we did with that branch, but you can see this is a faster weapon. Come on, man. I'm right here. Ow. Now, I might go ahead and infuse this with raw. Because a raw infusion will actually increase the magic damage it deals. So let's do some math here. 187 plus 102, so 289. Versus... Oh, I don't have 2,000 souls. Well, let's fix that. The armor change is just because I was getting sick of looking at the other one. 350 damage. When we hit this guy, we'll see how much damage this weapon's actually doing. One of the advantages is this doesn't really have a sweet spot like the other one. So it's always going to do max damage. Now, when we give it raw, what's going to happen is it's going to go down to D-scaling in intellect. So it's going to lose some scaling. So we're going from, what was it, 289? And I can always just get another faint stone, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, if I recall, this is actually the most powerful version of it. 249, so we lose a little bit of damage on it. If you're going to go full intellect build, the magic damage is the way to do it. So we need 7,000 souls, so we'll come back and fix it. In fact, we've got a couple of things to do, so let's go do them. We're going to go back to the Forest of Fallen Giants. There's a section I haven't done, and I kind of need to do it. And I'm going to be pretty quiet for most of this. So. What we need to do is go down there. Since I don't feel like falling down, we're going to take the traditional route. The Chaos Shield is actually pretty decent. You know what? That is the only real problem with this weapon. You go to do a heavy attack not thinking about it, and I am summoning them because they will distract the enemy. Now, I went back to the Iron Keep and got the key for this area. It's right in the first room. Once you've turned off the fire, you can just walk up and grab it. So, I'm going to run past this because you can see there are those giant lizard things in here. They will murder my ass. And there's the heavy iron key. Now, the difference between this and the other weapons is about 100 damage. The thing is the convenience of being able to just cast spells whenever I want to without having to... And being able to have a shield in my offhand is a very powerful advantage. Well, while we're down here, we might as well get some other stuff. See, with the two of them to help me, this area is going to be much easier. These enemies are tougher, though, because they are technically New Game Plus difficulty. Aww. Forgot about him over there. Oh well. It's not a big deal. We got what we came here for. And I know I wanted those souls, but I'll live. Alright. Now that we did that, let's move on to our next objective in the forest. Part of this is also I can now have a torch in my offhand while still being able to cast spells and melee. He's dead, we can light this. No good reason to do it other than if you die, you don't have to carry a torch the whole way. Alright, we use the soldier key to go down here. Oh, yes. Ruined Aephless is an NPC. He is a caster NPC, I might add. And he will cast light on himself to help light the area. You can see this weapon is actually quite powerful. And while it doesn't hit as hard as our other weapon did, it uses less stamina, so we can swing it more frequently. The DPS potential is much higher. Wow, his crystal soul spear is shitty. Set light. Torch. And we don't need the torch for the next area, so. I may actually stop buffing this weapon and instead grab the strong magic shield ability. Yes. So the Witch Tree branch is still more powerful than this weapon right now, but it's also faster, but it's also a one-trick pony. And that turtle bro is dead. There's a lot of them in here. So this is the other area of the forest, which I didn't notify, or didn't do before. Ah, Soul Vortex. Very powerful spell. What's that? Put this weapon to work. Bastard sword, soul of a nameless soldier, cracked red eye orb. I'm gonna have to do some invading sometime soon. Now, in New Game Plus, when you come over here, there's going to be an invader who spawns up there. Not to mention, there's another invader who will spawn, and I don't know if he comes in New Game Plus or New Game. We're going to find out one way or the other, though. They don't notice me? Okay. Bye. Aphlis is going to disappear here in a moment. Alright. You can always tell when a small sign is about to disappear because they turn black. The gear I've chosen, by the way, is just, I think it looks like decent leather gear. It's an interesting looking set. Different from what you'll see most people use. Ah, there he is. Armorer Dennis. He's using the same weapon I am. Let's see who uses it better. And grab this stuff. This is the Hunter set. That's what I thought. And he has the Spirit Tree shield, which is very good for anti-magic users. Ah, wrong choice. He'll hang out up there. Bam! Armorer Dennis has always been tough for me. So we picked up the Hunter set. Let's take a look at it. It's a little more traditional leather gear. It looks kind of ridiculous on me though. So. These Elite Knight leggings I like. They go with a lot of different sets. But anyway, the whole purpose of coming over here actually is what's in this room. He has an item. Seed of a Tree of Giants. Now, I don't usually use these, but a lump of something unobtainable from a giant tree makes enemies react to invaders. When the giants fell, they grew into great trees. Death is not the end, for anything that has ever lived, once lived, remains a part of a great cycle of regeneration. But what of those outside the cycle? What happens is if you get invaded, you can eat one of those, or use it, I should say, and enemies will attack Red Bros. So I'm going to put that on there. I don't usually use them. They're just kind of silly. But for you, I will use them. Just so you can see what they look like. Ah, good. And now we have enough. We can go buy a Faint Stone and have a properly upgraded sword here. And that is the extra stuff from the Forest of Fallen Giants. I do still have the Pursuer who's alive in that area, but you've seen the Pursuer. Excuse me. But she'll have 3 of about everything, including petrified dragon bones. So I think instead of being able to buff my sword, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Great Magic Shield, or Strong Magic Shield, which buffs your shield, as you might suspect. It increases your stability quite a bit, makes it a little better when you block. The shield I'm using is again only going to block 73% of damage, but 73% is not something to sneeze at. Now these guys are usually what I go and farm when I need souls to upgrade my weapons. There we go. There are better shields for blocking magic, but I like the look of this shield. Alright, let's infuse that with a Faint Stone. Now, as our intellect gets better, this sword will scale with our intellect a lot better. So, there's that. So since we're here, I am going to go to the Exile holding cells and show you the other portion of this area. Again, not much. It's another like 5-6 minute section tops. But this is more how I usually play sorcerers. I use the magic as support, and then I prefer using an actual weapon. Okay, so there's an enemy down there. There's a couple of enemies, actually. I want to kill them before I go down there. No, actually, I am going to use the Witch Tree branch for this part because it has better aim. There, now I can take it off. Oh, I should mention, I have Channeler's Trident on, so I can do this. And now, my weapon is buffed and I deal more damage. Yeah, I'm not coming down there to fight you, dog. So, there's about to be an enemy in here. who is quite powerful. I can trigger him. There we go. No, come back. Ah, poop. So, coming back into this area, there's this. Now that Pursuer is one of the good reasons to come back here. But you get an Estus Flask shard from that. And you can open this gate, which allows you to come back this way whenever you want. And I don't want to deal with those dogs right now, so I'm going to not go over there. There is that alluring skull. We'll go this way first. Now, up on top here, there's actually a red Phantom, one of the mummy dudes in New Game Plus, but he's not going to be here right now, so. You go down this way, there's a soul item. Soul of a brave warrior and a human effigy, not bad at all. You can see the fog rolling in off the ocean over there. Break through this wall. And you can light this torch. That ghost startled the shit out of me. Hi. One of the nice things about this weapon is the swing arc. You can hit things pretty easily with it. Be very careful, those are explosive barrels. Flame butterfly. And we can open this with the antiquated key and come out here. Soul of a Lost Undead. And go in here. Alright, bro. And he's dead. Now you may remember this from me going through the Lost Bastille before, so I'm not gonna go too crazy on it. And let's not deal with that. Ooh, the Shadow Leggings. Those give you claws on your feet. Not exactly good gear, but funny. Just empty rooms. These actually have red phantoms in them on New Game Plus. And it leads you back out here. Now you can see I'm doing significantly less damage to them in melee. That's because most enemies are resistant to spell damage or magic damage. So it's a trade-off. You're gonna have more magic damage, but less physical damage. Which, I don't know. I'm not sure. I like having my magical damage. but I mean, we're not getting that much. There is a ring we'll get later that will help with that, though. But since we are a caster, I'll stick with magic damage. Alright, what else do we need to see? Things I haven't shown you guys. We have done the Lost Bastille. We have finished that area. We have finished that area. Oh, we do need to do that boss. Let's go ahead and do that boss. So you'll see I don't block very much with this shield. It might be pointless for me to even be using a shield, to be honest. So instead, I am going to go ahead and give myself another spell. I'm going to grab Soul Greatsword, because it honestly looks quite cool coming off of this thing. Alright. So there's another boss in this area. And that is how you parry. The benefits of having a shield. I had no idea I was going to actually succeed. There's a soul item over there we never grabbed. I'm going to go grab it. Against enemies who aren't resistant to magic, this is not a bad weapon in the least. Now you'll note that I'm not using my spells. It's because I am saving them for the boss we're going to be fighting. There is no bonfire between us and the next boss. Instead of going the other way, you go this way. Up and over. And you kill that guy. Hello. Hello, little hollow. Come along. Generally speaking, with shields, it's always better to have a shield than not have one. Even 70... John Stamos, you say? That is a player. Probably gonna die here. But I might have a much better time of it this time. Lightning. Come on, bro. Not gonna hit me with that shit. Bait that R1. And I win. Not exactly an honorable duel, but whatever. And it's worth it to use your spells when you get invaded like that. See, there's a skeleton there, and there's him, so let's bait him out. Those guys are really easy to backstab. Once you learn their moveset, they're pretty predictable. But there are multiple of them up here. Oh, Made me waste it, did ya? I am gonna eat my mushroom for this. One of the most powerful heals in the game. It will continuously heal you for a long time. Let's see, he has a whip. The whip is a little harder to dodge. You can actually get their weapons. I don't know about the whip, but you can get that big old weapon that he's got. It's very hard to get though, as far as I can tell, because I have never successfully gotten it. It occurs to me that I might want to switch to the stone ring. The stone ring, giving the reduction to poise, will be useful for this sword, since this sword does not do as much poise damage as a full heavy on, you know, doom weapon. Can I hit you? I can hit you. I'm gonna go ahead and just refresh my soul items when I get up here, or my sorceries when I get up here, because there's an enemy up here who's tough. Hi. Don't fall down those holes. There we go. Ah. That guy. You cannot parry that jump attack, so you can only hope to get away. Or block it if you've got the strength to do it. Now, usually there's people hanging around here, but I think I'm above the soul memory for this area. Alright, he didn't see me. Good. You can just run past most of these enemies, including him. Ow. Assuming you don't get murder raped by him. Jeez, he's committed today. They have a lot of poise. Okay, so that did not go as planned. Nothing ever does in Dark Souls. He didn't see me, we're good. That soul item over there is a notched whip. Yes, I see you, friend. Okay. Attempt the second. You can back this way to get away from this guy. It's just dangerous. You can do that too, I suppose. Oh boy. You can jump off to get to that, but it's not worth the jump. I die more often than not, and I don't remember what it is, but it's not anything worth jumping off for. I don't see any summons for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to run back. If you'll recall from our first time through the Hunter's Copse, there is an NPC we can summon. Bashful Ray. And since we got past that other big dude, we should be able to go grab him without much difficulty. And he can come with us all the way up there. Now the reason I'm making a point of getting a summon to help me is that this boss I'm about to go fight is difficult at the best of times. It's the Executioner's Chariot. There is a hallway we're going to be in, and there's going to be a chariot going through that hallway, and it's going to be murdering us. In the meantime, there's going to be skeletons and necromancers rezzing the skeletons. I want to get here as fast as I can before Bashful Ray runs out of time. Which is why if you're going to do this, it's a good idea to clear the area out first. I've never seen him fall off this bridge. I suppose it's possible, but I've never seen it happen. The shield is going to be helpful here to protect me from the skeletons. Yep. The trick is to come into these little corners here and hide. He will take care of them. And I'm dead. And you can see why this is rough. And those necromancers will respawn every single time. You know what? I don't feel like dealing with this tonight. So we're going to do something else. I will come back, I promise. I have to do every boss. I swore I would. But I am just not up to the Executioner's Chariot tonight. We will find something else to do. Could do the rest of Earthen Peak. It's not really worth doing, though. The doors are not worth doing. I'll have to think it through. Oh, I know one we could do. That's... I think it's time that I set us up to start the DLC. So the DLCs are accessed using keys. We now have all 3 keys, but I'm going to do them in the order that they were released. This is going to take us time. This is not going to be a one-night affair. Yes, yes, I'm poisoned now. Where's my... The first DLC is the Crown of the Sunken King. To access it, you go to the Rotten, and you go back here to this. As I mentioned before at the Shrine of Winter, these doohickeys mean you're going to a DLC. Forbidden is the path, trespassers will face adversity, water dry and path amiss. The city of the Sunken King sleeps, as does the dragon within. And yes, it's a dragon. And this is not a Skyrim dragon, this is a Dark Souls dragon. You do not fuck with a Dark Souls dragon. The Crown of the Sunken King DLC isn't as visually distinct. Well, it is visually distinct. Lots of green. I find it to be a kind of boring presentation, but it's still quite pretty in its own way. Two of the nastiest bosses in the game, though. You hear that breathing? Shulva Sanctum City. We are about as deep as you can get. This is a truly ancient city. It was originally on the surface. Sin, the slumbering dragon. Yes. Alright. And for today, that will be enough. See you next time.